He made me feel crazy for suspecting him, gaslit me into thinking I was paranoid, until the day I found a second phone hidden in his gym bag. My hands trembled as I opened it. Messages from dozens of women, each one thinking they were the only one. That night, I set a trap. I sent them all the same message. Meet me at 7 p.m. There's something you should know. One by one, they walked in. His face went pale as he realized what I had done. The look in their eyes told him everything. He had nowhere left to run. I'm 38 female. My boyfriend, well, ex now, is 41 male. Let's call him Derek. Not his real name, obviously. We were together for almost 8 years. Lived in San Diego, North Park area. Had a 2-bedroom apartment together, 2 dogs we rescued from a shelter, and a shared bank account. People always asked us why we weren't married, but I thought we just weren't in a rush. It felt secure. Comfortable. Or so I thought. Derek worked as a personal trainer. Private clients, gyms, home visits, sometimes even worked with couples. Always on the move. He was one of those people that made you feel like you mattered. Everyone liked him. He could charm strangers in a grocery store line. I fell hard for that version of him. Things didn't change overnight. It started slowly, like most things do. At first, he just seemed tired more often. Didn't want to hang out as much. Then came the gym obsession. He was already in shape, but suddenly it was 2 workouts a day. Morning lifts. Evening cardio. Always trying a new routine. He was eating different, sleeping different, more irritable. I asked if something was up, and he said he was stressed about money, trying to build a better client base. Then it got weirder. He started being weird about his phone. Always on silent. Always face down. If it buzzed, he'd pick it up and step out of the room. I noticed this more at night. He'd be checking it in the bathroom, saying he was just going over tomorrow's schedule. When I asked who was texting him that late, he'd say, just a client's wife, or someone asking for pricing info. And yeah, that might make sense once or twice. But every night? Middle of the night, even? I brought it up a few times. Asked directly if something was going on. He'd laugh, shake his head, sometimes even hug me and say, babe, I love you, but you gotta stop making up stories in your head. He always made it about me. Said I was overthinking. Accused me of being insecure. He even suggested I see someone about anxiety, that maybe my last relationship left scars. I actually started to believe him. I felt like I was losing it. I Googled things like, am I paranoid in my relationship? I downloaded meditation apps. I tried to be less naggy. I journaled. I second-guessed every gut feeling. But something never sat right. Then came the day I found the second phone. This part still messes with me. It was a Tuesday. He had just gotten back from an evening training session with a new client. He dropped his gym bag in the hallway and went straight to the shower. I went to grab something from it. One of our dogs had a toy in there from the weekend, and I figured I'd just get it out. When I opened the side pocket, I felt something hard, like plastic, behind some rolled-up gym socks. It was a flip phone. A cheap, pay-as-you-go flip phone. No case. Scratched up. Light as hell. The kind you see at gas stations for emergencies. I stared at it, thinking maybe it was old or for work stuff. But then I opened it. No passcode. It was on. Fully charged. And full of messages. Dozens. Hundreds. All to different women. Names like Tasha Pilates, Marina client, Lena stretch girl, Jess face blowing kissed. Some were flirty. Some were full-on sexts. Pictures. Voice notes. Nudes. Scheduling hookups. Late night meetups. Can't wait to taste you again. Miss that tight body. Same time as last week? I wish I was exaggerating. I really do. And every single woman thought she was the only one. Some messages had him making excuses for being late or why he couldn't stay over again yet. One woman said she loved him. Another called him babe. Another sent a picture of her holding a pregnancy test and wrote, should we talk? I sat there frozen. He was still in the shower, singing, like nothing was wrong. I took pictures of the messages. Every screen. Every conversation I could scroll through. I couldn't even cry. I just felt hollow. Like I had stepped out of my own body. When he came out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, I smiled. I asked how his client was. He said it went great. He had no idea. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I just laid there with my back to him, staring at the wall. The next morning, after he left, I went back to the phone. I had an idea. I sent the same message to every single woman in the phone. Hi. This is about Derek. Please meet me at Better Buzz Coffee on 5th Avenue tonight at 7 p.m. There's something important you should know. I figured maybe 2, 3 women would actually show up. 13 came. One by one, they walked in. All different types of women. Some in yoga pants, some in office clothes, one in scrubs. Some looked nervous. Some looked confused. A few were already angry. I had reserved a long table near the back. I stood up and said, "You're here because you got a message about Derek, right?" Most nodded. I held up the flip phone and said, "This is his second phone. You might want to look through it." That was all it took. We started comparing notes, stories, timelines, screenshots, photos. One woman had been seeing him for almost a year. Another had flown in from Sacramento twice to see him. One thought he was single and just not ready to commit. Another said they were planning a trip to Tulum together. The group was silent for a moment. Then came the rage, the realization, the embarrassment. And we weren't even done. Because then, at exactly 7:47 p.m., Derek walked in. To this day, I will never forget his face. He spotted me first. Then one by one, his eyes scanned the table. He recognized every single woman. He went pale. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. That's where I'll stop for now. It gets messy, eh? And if people are interested, I'll post the rest. But yeah, he made me feel crazy for months. Turns out I was right all along. So when I last left off, Derek walked into Better Buzz and saw 13 women, including me, waiting for him. He froze like he'd just walked into a nightmare. His jaw locked, his eyes darted from face to face and then back to me. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. The room spoke for itself. Then someone, Lena, I think, stood up and said, real calm, "Have a seat, Derek. We need to talk." He hesitated. Looked like he might bolt. But he didn't. I think he realized there was nowhere to go, and maybe he thought he could still talk his way out of it. He sat. And the stories began. One by one, the women told their version. Each time, Derek interrupted with some weak excuse. "That wasn't like that. She knew it was casual. Wait, I never said I loved you. I told you I had a complicated situation. It was like watching a man drown in quicksand made of his own lies." Then Sophia, quiet, reserved, had barely said anything to pulled out a stack of printed screenshots. She said, "You told me your girlfriend died in a car crash 3 years ago. You said you were still grieving and that's why you couldn't be public with me." My heart nearly stopped. I stared at him. He wouldn't even look at me. Dead girlfriend? That's what he told her about me? Sophia slammed the papers on the table and stood up. "You had me telling my mother to be patient because you were healing from loss. You lying piece of trash." A few other women gasped. One actually looked like she might cry. Another woman, Marina, leaned forward and said, "He told me he was divorcing a woman who emotionally abused him. That she stalked him. That she was crazy. That crazy ex? That was me." I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was that bitter, dead inside laugh where your body's trying to keep you from screaming. And then Tasha, young, early 20s, barely spoke, stood up and said in a trembling voice, "I'm pregnant." The whole room went silent. Derek turned into stone, like his brain just glitched. "No, you're not," he said quickly. "I am," she said. "You told me you wanted it. You told me we'd move to Texas. You said we'd start over fresh." I felt physically ill. Texas? Pregnant? That's when he stood up, trying to act like the victim. "You're all ambushing me. This is messed up. You all knew what this was. None of you are innocent here." He actually said that. "You all knew." He tried to walk out. Marina got in his way. "You're not walking away from this. Not without answering. Who's the real you?" That's when he snapped. He shouted, "What do you want from me? I'm not some monster, all right? I was just trying to figure my life out. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Someone near the front counter called out, "Do we need to call someone?" The manager started walking over. He pushed past Marina and left. Just like that. Coward. Bolted into the night. No apology. No remorse. Just vanished. We all sat there for a while. No one knew what to do. Then Sophia said, "He's not just a liar. He's a predator." Another woman, Jules, quietly said, "I gave him money. I paid off a car loan for him last month." My stomach twisted again. Turns out he had borrowed, or guilt, money from 3 different women at that table. Small amounts, maybe, but still. Lies on top of lies. Then someone brought up something none of us had thought about. What if we weren't the only ones? The flip phone only held so much. But what about the real phone? The one he kept locked up like it was a damn government device? We all looked at each other. What if he had more? Women in other cities? What if he was hiding something worse? One of the women, Kayla, said she worked in IT and knew how to extract info from phones, even deleted stuff. She offered to take the flip phone and try. We agreed. That night turned into a group chat. We created a thread. All of us. We called it the Derek Files. Every day, more stuff came out. More screenshots. Bank transfers. Hotel receipts. Voice messages he left when he thought one of us was mad at him. He was running a whole fake life. No lives. A few of the women called him out publicly. Some posted his photos with warnings on dating apps. One of them emailed his gym clients. Then came the twist I wasn't ready for. 3 days later, I got a knock on my door. It was a woman I'd never met. She looked older. Probably mid-50s. She said, "Are you, my name?" "I'm Derek's ex-wife." I didn't even know he had one. She said they'd divorced 7 years ago. She said he was still legally tied to her through some old debt and was using her credit. She said he had done this before, but not on this scale. That last time, there were 4 women. She didn't know it had gotten this big. But here's the real kicker. She said she had found a storage unit he rented under her name and asked me if I wanted to see what was in it. That's where I'll leave off for now. I haven't gone to the unit yet, but I'm going. And I have a feeling things are about to get a whole lot worse. So, yeah, the ex-wife showing up on my doorstep really knocked the wind out of me. Her name was Elise. We sat in my kitchen, and she told me everything. And honestly, some of it I still haven't fully processed. She had been married to Derek for 6 years. They divorced, but not cleanly. She said he kept stringing her along afterward, coming back around when he needed money or a place to crash. She said he was addicted to attention and had always had side girls, but never anything like this. Not with this many women. Not this organized. Then she handed me a wrinkled receipt. A storage unit lease. Signed. Her name on it. Him as the authorized user. Same guy. Same lies. She said she'd gone there the week before after getting a collections notice. Turns out he'd missed months of payments. But when she walked in, she got overwhelmed. She said it felt like a graveyard, and she left without touching anything. We agreed to go together the next day. And let me tell you, that storage unit was something else. Inside was a literal museum of his double life. There were gift bags, still unopened. Dozens. Labeled with sticky notes. For Marina, Christmas, Tasha, birthday, Steph. There were cards, sweet, handwritten love notes he never sent. There were pictures, printed, framed, with different women. It was like he was stockpiling romantic gestures in bulk. But then we found something worse. A drawer filled with copies of IDs, driver's licenses, insurance cards, a few passports. Not stolen, just photocopies. Some were mine. Some were from the women in our group chat. Some we didn't recognize. I stood there, holding a copy of my own insurance card that I had no idea he'd made, and I felt sick. Elise turned pale. He was using our personal info. To do what? We didn't know yet. But it felt bad. That's when Elise pulled out a box labeled contracts. Inside were printouts of fake job agreements, forged references, and something labeled consulting plan, fitness and wellness partners. It had Kayla's name on it. And mine. He had mocked up documents making it look like we were co-founders in his imaginary business. Signatures forged. Terms fake. I couldn't breathe. Why would he do that? Elise and I took pictures of everything. Left it all untouched after that. Something felt criminal. We sent the files to Kayla, IT girl, and she nearly lost her mind. She said she'd look into whether any bank or credit cards had been opened under our names. A few days passed. Then came the next twist. Kayla messaged the group chat, "Hey, I found a hidden folder on the flip phone. Audio recordings. Over 80 of them." He had been recording conversations. Private ones. Intimate ones. You could hear women crying, laughing, saying, "I love you." In some, he asked personal questions, bank stuff, family info, where we grew up, old passwords. He was fishing for answers. Building profiles. One recording hit hard. It was me, crying in our living room, telling him I felt like I was losing him, and him gently reassuring me I was being emotional again. He recorded that. He knew he was gaslighting me. And he recorded it. That's when I stopped feeling hurt and started feeling scared. Who was this man? Marina got a lawyer. Fast. She had co-signed something for him months ago, a gym lease, and now she wasn't sure what she'd gotten herself into. Then Kayla found something else, a document on his cloud account called Project Phoenix. It was a spreadsheet. Women's names. Contact dates. Ratings. Notes. I wish I was kidding. There were actual columns. Name. Age. Location. Type. Trust level. Assets. Assets meant what we had. Apartments. Jobs. Savings. Cars. Next to my name? Long-term. Emotional type. Access to car and shared account. Parents wealthy, potential future access. It was like a predator's notebook. And next to Tasha's name? Unstable. Clingy. Baby risk. Monitor closely. She read it and sobbed in the group chat. Said she was keeping the baby. Said he didn't even know yet. That night, Elise texted me something that shook me more than anything. He did this before. Not just women. He got caught using a client's info years ago. Never charged. But it scared him. Looks like he's back to old tricks. So now, it wasn't just about cheating. It was identity theft. Fraud. Psychological manipulation. God knows what else. I filed a police report. So did Kayla. And Marina. And Jules. And Elise. I didn't sleep that night. And just when I thought it was slowing down, another twist came. A woman reached out to me on Instagram. I didn't recognize her. Said she saw my post warning others about Derek on a local group. She said she met him in Mexico at a yoga retreat he claimed he was hosting. She said he went by a different name there. Claimed to be a widowed trauma coach. She'd slept with him. Trusted him. Said she gave him $3,000 to help fund a wellness podcast. He ghosted her the week after. She sent me photos. Same man. Same smile. Same lies. Except in one photo, he had a ring on. I zoomed in. It wasn't the one he wore when we were together. It was a gold band, simple, shiny. She said he told her they were spiritually married during the retreat. I don't even know what that means. But it sounds like something he'd say. So now there's a woman in Mexico who thinks she's his wife. I haven't told the others yet. I don't know how to say it. But I know this, he's not just a cheater. He's dangerous. And this is far from over. It all started with a message from Tasha, the girl who said she was pregnant. She said Derek had finally reached out to her. After weeks of silence. He asked to meet. Said he wanted to do the right thing. She was hesitant, obviously. But she agreed, only if she could bring someone. She chose me. So we met at the same coffee shop. Better buzz. It was poetic in a sick way. I sat at a corner table with her while we waited. She was nervous, clutching her stomach like it was going to protect her from what was coming. Derek walked in like nothing happened. Clean cut. Fresh shave. New clothes. Same stupid smile. He saw me and his face twitched. You're still dragging her around? He said to Tasha. Don't, I said. He rolled his eyes. Sat down. Said, okay, so what do you want from me? Money? An apology? A show? That's when I pulled out a file folder and slid it across the table. Inside were copies of everything. The fake contracts. The ID scans. The list of women. Project Phoenix. I said, you tell her what this is. Or I will. He stared at the folder, then looked at Tasha. Then back at me. He laughed. Actually laughed. You girls are insane. You think you know me? You don't know shit. I opened my phone and hit play. It was an audio recording. Him, a few months back, whispering sweet things to me in our kitchen. You're all I've ever wanted. You're my home. Then a cut to another one, him talking to Sophia. I see a future with you. I'm ready to settle down. Then another, him telling Marina she was the only real one. Tasha looked like she'd been slapped. She stood up. You said we were starting a family. You said we'd move to Texas. Derek shook his head. You're all obsessed. You're stalking me now? This is harassment. I stood up, too. I filed a police report. So did 6 other women. You think this is over? We have your files. We know what you did. We're not going away. People were watching us now. A woman at the next table whispered to her friend. A guy behind the counter paused while foaming milk. Then Derek lost it. He slammed his fist on the table. I never promised any of you anything. You gave it to me. You threw yourselves at me. You wanted the fantasy, and I gave it to you. Lies, Tasha whispered. All of it. He turned to her, pointed at her stomach, and said, you don't even know if that's mine. Gasps. Actual gasps from around the room. Tasha's hand flew to her mouth. Tears welled up fast. She turned and ran out. I didn't follow her. Not yet. I looked at Derek. Really looked. And I didn't see the man I'd loved. I saw a stranger. A small, scared, desperate man hiding behind charm and lies. You're done, I said. I turned and walked out. The aftermath was worse than I expected. Tasha blocked everyone. I don't blame her. We heard through a mutual that she moved back home. Planning to keep the baby. No updates since. Marina's lawyer sent a cease and desist to Derek. Turns out he'd tried to use her social to apply for a car lease. Denied. Kayla submitted all the tech evidence to the police. They're investigating. We're not sure how far it'll go, but a detective did reach out to me 2 weeks ago. As for me, I kept thinking I'd cry. But I didn't. Not really. Not the way I expected. What I felt instead was a kind of dull ache. Like someone pulled a part of me out slowly and left the empty space raw and exposed. My friends were angry. Some of them wanted to post his full name, his picture, everything. I said no. Not because I'm protecting him, but because I want to move on without dragging him behind me like a corpse I didn't ask to carry. Elise, his ex-wife, texted me last week. He did it to you worse than he ever did to me. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to say back. I still don't. 1. If your gut is screaming, listen. 2. If someone makes you feel crazy for asking questions, ask louder. 3. If someone lies with a smile, it's still a lie. 4. Charm isn't love. Apologies aren't change. Attention isn't affection. I wish I could say I feel stronger. Wiser. I don't. Not yet. I feel tired. But clear. I ended things for real. I changed my number. Closed the joint account. Moved into a new place. Smaller. Quieter. Mine. Sometimes at night, I still replay things in my head. Conversations. Laughs. That stupid playlist he made me on Spotify. I hate that I miss it. But I also know this, he didn't break me. He cracked something open, yeah. But maybe it needed to break. Maybe now I can build something better. Not with someone else. Not yet. With me.